In this video, we'll demonstrate how to complete a Resource Status Card or T-Card, ICS Form 219. There are a bunch of ICS Form 219 T-Cards. We use T-Cards to track the status of resources throughout the incident. Each card has a different color that corresponds to a particular kind of resource. There are small differences between each one based on what you're tracking, so always refer to the form's instructions to complete them accurately. For this example, we're using the ICS Form 219-5, the Personnel Card, which is white. As the name states, use this card to track personnel during the incident. The top of the T card is where we write down the state and/or unit identifier for the resource, usually 3 to 5 letters, and is assigned by the jurisdiction having authority. Next, add the name of the individual. This is usually noted using their first initial and last name. Of course, you may have more than one person with the same first initial and last name. Use more letters if necessary. Then include the position or title of the individual. Use their ICS position or title, not their home unit title. Moving to the stem on the front of the T card, record the date and time the person checked in using the 24-hour clock, and then add their full name. Next, we note the primary contact information for the person's leader. This could be a cell phone number or radio. In the case of radio, include the function, frequency, system, and channel from the Incident Radio Communications Plan, ICS Form 205. In the manifest box, check yes or no. If they do have a manifest, be sure to include the manifest number. Remember, a manifest is typically a list of crew or personnel on a resource. Then, add the person's weight with their kit as a safety precaution when flying. In Method of Travel to Incident, select the method. AOV is Agency-Owned Vehicle, and POV is Personally Owned Vehicle. If it's something other than what's listed, select Other, and then include what that is in the line below it, such as rental. We can also use this space to include specific information we want to record about their arrival. Next, in the Home Base field, write down the location where the resource is normally assigned. This may be different from where the resource departed from. Under Departure Point, enter the location from which the resource or individual departed for this incident. In the ETD and ETA fields, enter the estimated time of departure and estimated time of arrival, using the 24-hour clock. Next, enter the transportation needs at incident. They might need a bus, vehicle, air asset, ambulance, or some other form of transportation. When selecting Other, be sure to include details in the space below. Don't forget that generally air assets, such as planes and helicopters, do not bring their own cars for getting around. Also include the date and time the person was ordered to the incident. This information is transcribed from the check-in process, possibly the incident check-in list, ICS Form 211. The Remarks field is where we can note anything of importance about the individual or their crew. They may have certain requirements not otherwise listed, for example. Now let's move to the stem on the back of the card. Enter the location of the individual at the incident and the time they arrived at that location using the 24-hour clock. Then record their status. Refer to the form's instructions to determine that appropriate status. Next, add notes related to the individual's status. The back of this form has multiple fields for incident location, time, status, and notes, so we can track each change in status. We work our way down the form as the individual moves from place to place. The last step is to write our name and the date and time we prepared the form. These cards help track resource status and are moved around a board to indicate whether they are available, assigned, or out of service. The information written on those cards is invaluable to the incident action planning process. Keep them as accurate as possible. Remember that T cards are a vital resource used by the Resources Unit Leader, who works in the planning section. Once completed, they make things like putting together strike teams and task forces so much easier. All you have to do is grab a bunch of completed T cards and paper clip them together. Now you have a ST or TF. That's it for the Resource Status Card T card, ICS Form 219. Thanks for watching.